Good afternoon. As South Korea marks the 78th anniversary of its liberation from Japanese colonial rule, President Yoon Suk-yeol said Japan is now a partner that shares universal values and pursues common interests with South Korea. That was among the key messages during his speech addressing the nation at the main ceremony in Seoul. With the remarks coming ahead of the trilateral summit between Seoul, Washington, and Tokyo this Friday, Yoon said the summit will set a new milestone in the three-way cooperation for peace and prosperity on the Korean Peninsula and in the Indo-Pacific region. He also attributed the nation's success since independence to Seoul-Washington alliance's defense of democracy, contrasting it with North Korea, which he says is unable to escape from horrendous poverty. Yoon added that independence movement was not just to regain sovereignty, but to establish freedom and democracy, and is thus a universal and just movement for humanity. In the meantime, on behalf of the U.S. government, the country's Secretary of State Antony Blinken extended his warm congratulations to South Korea on the 78th National Liberation Day, highlighting the Seoul-Washington alliance. In a statement on Monday, Blinken reaffirmed the strength of the two countries' alliance in its 70th year and their strategic partnership built upon shared values. He added that the U.S. is committed to expanding people-to-people ties, investing in economic growth, and upholding international peace and stability. On the same day, Blinken and his counterparts from South Korea and Japan coordinated the agenda for the upcoming summit between the leaders of the three nations on Friday at Camp David. The day before Korea's National Liberation Day, South Korea's independence fighter Choi Jae-hyung and his wife were posthumously reunited in spirit after being separated for over 100 years. Choi Min-jung reports.
The remains of Elena Petrovna Choi have been symbolically reunited with her husband, Korean independence fighter Choi Jae-hyung, after a century-long separation. A day before Korea's National Liberation Day on Monday, the Ministry of Patriots and Veterans Affairs interred the remains in the grave, honoring Choi Jae-hyung in Seoul National Cemetery. Choi's remains have yet to be found following his death at the hands of the Imperial Japanese Army in 1920. Choi, who moved to Russia with his parents at the age of 9, was a successful businessman during the Japanese colonial era. He used his wealth to finance independence fighters and to support hundreds of thousands of Korean immigrants in Siberia.
Choi Jae-hyung is a really big star in the history of our independence movement. Although it took us some time, it symbolizes how much our country respects those who devoted themselves to the country.
Previously, under the National Cemetery Act, memorial tablets for patriotic martyrs whose bodies were never recovered could not be placed in Seoul National Cemetery. The Patriots Ministry, however, amended the law, which from July enabled the placement of these tablets on graves prepared for these patriots, together with the remains of their spouses. This is why the remains of Elena Petrovna Choi were brought back from Kyrgyzstan to Korea last week, the first such action in 70 years.
As soon as I became the head of the ministry, I heard about the unfortunate story of Choi. I argued that Choi must be enshrined in Seoul National Cemetery, even if that meant changing the law. It wasn't easy, but we tried endlessly to persuade the National Assembly.
The minister said that it was important for South Korea to quickly bring back surviving patriots and the remains of independence fighters. He also added that he hopes more descendants get the opportunity to remember and respect the achievements of those who fought for Korea's liberation. Family members from Russia and other countries came all the way to South Korea for the burial ceremony, and the Korean public also paid tribute, thanking the couple for their sacrifice and dedication for Korea's independence. Choi Min-jung, Arirang News.
Now, over in Hawaii, the death toll from the devastating wildfires in Maui has risen to 99, with authorities warning the figure could double in the coming days. Our Lee Soo-jin has the latest.
The death toll from the Maui wildfires, the deadliest U.S. wildfires in more than 100 years, continues to rise. Hawaii Governor Josh Green told the media on Monday local time that the death toll is likely to double in the next 10 days. This comes a day after he toured the wildfire damage on Maui.
Families will come together, but there's a lot of loss here. And I think we're going to see significantly higher numbers in the coming days as our professionals from FEMA and Maui Fire, police do their job.
The total number of people that are missing or unaccounted for is still unknown, as the harsh conditions such as the heat have made it difficult for cadaver dogs and rescue crews to conduct search and recovery operations.
This is going to require every tool that we have in our toolbox. We are not going to be able to rely on all of the traditional programs that we do in the continental United States.
As the death toll continues to go up, officials are facing criticism regarding their preparation and their handling of the deadliest wildfires in over a century. Hawaii's outdoor siren warning system, the largest in the world with around 400 alarms, was not activated during the fires. Other alert systems were instead activated, such as mobile phone alerts and messages on televisions and radio stations, which many deem to be insufficient.
Just from our parking stall to the entrance of our apartment complex, it went from blue skies to gray to black. And all we seen was embers from fire that we had no idea what's going on. There was no siren, nothing.
There is also a lawsuit filed against Hawaii Electric that alleges that the fires were caused by the utility company failing to shut off the power lines that were knocked down by strong winds. The blaze devastated the town of Lahaina on Maui's west coast, damaging or destroying more than 2,200 structures. Recovery efforts are focused on providing direct aid that will help displaced residents temporarily move into hotels and motels, as well as grants for basic necessities such as food, water, and medical supplies. Lee Soo-jin, Arirang News.
That's all for this hour. More updates coming up at 6 p.m.